Afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely spring Thursday. For those that are joining for the first time, you are so welcome. My name is Cassandra, and I am the founder as well as a clinic director and one of the registered psychotherapists at One Piece Therapy. For those that are, now you're veterans in joining the webinar, whether you're attending live or watching the recorded. Good for you for continuing to be up to date on your wellness. Today, we have something very special in store for all of our wellness watchers. We have our lovely Tirza Martins, who is our natural health practitioner, which includes holistic nutrition, as well as our Reiki practitioner, our first and only Reiki practitioner. I am so excited about offering this service to all of our wellness watchers and also clients that are interested in just wanting to know more about Reiki and the secrets to health and healing. We have so much in store. Tirza has so much in store for today. So please feel free as you're listening, again, whether you're live or watching the recorded version. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to use the chat function or unmute yourself when appropriate. And if you're watching the recorded version, please feel free to use the comment section below, and we will address you directly with any inquiries you may have. And without further ado, I will put it over to you, Tirza.
Thanks so much for that, Cassandra. Welcome, everybody. So happy to have you here. I'm so excited to do this workshop. The title of it is Secrets to Health and Healing. And when we talk about secrets, I feel like when I see a lot of clients or even myself on my own healing journey, we can eat the same things, we can have certain supplements, we can have herbal medicine, but every body is different. Everybody is different. So we're going to talk about the secrets of how to read our own body and what's going on for us. And what's really fun about this workshop is that there is a quiz at the end that we're all going to do together. And with the results of the quiz, you're going to get your own energetic blueprint. And this blueprint includes nutrition, it includes herbal medicine, and also mind-body practices to help support your body and also your mind and your heart to heal. So again, Cassandra introduced me already, but my name is Tirza, and I am the holistic nutritionist and Reiki practitioner at One Piece Therapy. And I will do a quick introduction of myself. So I am a certified natural health practitioner and Reiki practitioner. And why I have those two certifications and what got me into that, well, I'll get a little bit more into my story in a second, but I really do believe that our body and mind are so interconnected. Our soul is definitely connected to our body. And for my healing journey too, I realized that a lot of the symptoms that I was getting was because of these emotional experiences that I went through in my life. So we'll go into that in a little bit, but I work with people that have tried, all the nutrition plans, all the supplements, all the things, but they still get recurring symptoms that keep coming up. And so we get to the root of why those things are coming up. So we'll get into some of those secrets today. And for the agenda today, we're gonna go through my story a little bit and talk about why I talk about this. And then we're gonna do a grounding exercise to get in our bodies. And then we're gonna talk about traditional Chinese medicine, which is one of the secrets to health and healing. And we have a exercise where we're gonna do a little bit of magic together. That's actually my favorite part of this entire workshop. And then we're going to talk about the energetics of the body, and you're going to get your energetic blueprint. So this whole presentation and my whole philosophy is that we have to connect the physical body with the energetic body, which is our emotional body, and how they're so interconnected. Okay, I did add a little quick trigger warning here. I do talk about eating disorders and abusive relationships very briefly. So if you get triggered by anything, just take breaths. And if you need to leave the workshop for a bit and come back, that's totally okay. I just wanted to mention that before we get started. So a little bit about me. I did grow up in a very traditional Christian household, and I did witness some very deep intergenerational trauma at home. And the way I learned to cope with my emotions first was through food. So that led me to develop disordered eating for around 10 years. So from I was about 14 to 23. That's what I experienced. And as I went in my adolescence, I also learned to deal with my emotions through other things, the highs and lows of abusive relationships. I also started to use drugs and alcohol to cope with my emotions. And I also was involved in a very toxic job at the time. And that was my more emotional side, but then my body started to respond. And I actually landed in the hospital multiple times within 2 years with a mystery illness. Doctors had no idea what was wrong with me. I would go in and out, had fevers, like all these things were happening. And they just didn't know what was wrong. There was something happening. And me looking back at it now, it was just my body was yelling at me and telling me that something was wrong. And that's how I look at symptoms with a lot of my clients is it's our body's way of communicating with us. I'm able to speak to you. I'm able to communicate with you through words, and our body can't do that to us. So what does it do? It gives us symptoms to tell us, hey, pay attention. So I'll get into more of that illness piece in a second, but I knew, like, because my body was speaking to me and screaming to me, I knew I needed to change, but I didn't know how because I was so stuck in these patterns. And I got the opportunity to go and do a program in Costa Rica for my schooling. And I thought that me going across the world, my problems would not follow me. And I was completely wrong. They did follow me when I went to Costa Rica. But I had a moment on Costa Rica. I actually took a video right before this moment happened that I was working in a bunch of schools in these banana plantations. Long story, it's a whole other story. But I was there and I was engaging with the communities there, and they were so incredibly happy, but they had absolutely nothing. And here I was being able to travel across the world, having a job, having all these things. And I was so sad. I was going through so much, right? And I was just reflecting on this on the beach. And I heard a voice. And now looking back at it, I thought it was my intuition. Now I do know that it was God speaking to me. And you don't need to be religious or engage with God at all during this workshop. It's just my truth, and I thought I'd share. But I heard a voice that said, as soon as you get home, everything is going to change. And everything did change once I got home. Again, if I mention anything spiritual later on, if you don't relate to it, just omit it. But also, if you don't connect with the word God, you can also use universe or spirit or whatever beliefs you have. But yeah, again, you can totally admit it, and I won't touch on it too much during this workshop. Okay, so the voice was right. As soon as I got home, I left a 4-year abusive relationship. I left that toxic job. And I started to look for a therapist to help me with my disordered eating. And my first therapist actually led me to energy healing, which is what I do now, Reiki healing. And through working with a therapist, through working with my mind, body, soul, I was able to heal my eating disorder. And during that time, I got very into my intuitive abilities. I started doing tarot readings and all these fun things, but really just getting in touch with my intuition and my own body's wisdom, because we get wisdom from our physical symptoms and also for what comes up in our mind and our soul, right? Okay, but then this is the physical health piece, okay? Because they all blend together. Because I healed my eating disorder, I healed my relationship with my body, I thought that I wanted to connect with it deeper. So I was on birth control at the time, and I believe that birth control can be kind of this band-aid solution underneath all these issues that are happening below, like nutrient deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, all of these things. And once you rip that band-aid off, all these things happen. So for me, my body was finally able to express all of these things. And I had things like brutal PMS, acne. I got facial hair growth on my cheeks, which is our PCOS symptoms. I got these really bad cold sores that I would get every month. Like my body was finally able to just purge all of these things. And I tried everything. I tried juice cleanses. I tried elimination diets. I tried random herbs and supplements. I didn't really know what I was doing. But I knew that if I could heal something so big in my life that took up 10 years, which was my eating disorder, I could also heal my body. So I started to study. And in 2024, I graduated and I healed all of my symptoms. And I now understood why, yeah, clap. I now understood why all the things that I was trying, like the juice cleanses, all these supplements, all this stuff wasn't working, is because I had to integrate the energetic piece of the body. And also, I believe that all of our bodies are different, and we'll get into that of how to read the body and see what your specific body needs. And I knew I needed to create something and do something for myself that kind of blended this energetic piece and physical body piece together. Okay, so we're going to learn about the energetics of the body and how we can promote healing in the body through both of those pieces.
Beautiful. Before we start, Tirza, I must, this round of applause, represents your resilience of not only conquering different mental health concerns, but even physical health, even the relationship with self, the relationship with others. Like, literally, your story is a definition of a holistic healing journey. And yes, how much resilience is needed, but even discipline, vulnerability. I really want to just acknowledge and thank you for being so vulnerable in sharing your story. I know you honestly, you summarized it very pleasantly. But I could only imagine how much changes and maybe even doubts and different things that came up for you in that process. So thank you for sharing that inspirational story. I wanted to highlight, out of everything you said, what stood out for me, which is something, a beautiful message to really share with others, is that you know your body the best. Right? Even though you don't exactly know how to use all the resources, sometimes we know when something doesn't feel right. Right. And sometimes it is that higher power that we lean on to gain more insight. And also it's our own bodies just listening to that communication that we can understand this doesn't feel right, or I am ready for this. So thank you for identifying also so much pieces of the healing journey that is crucial to acknowledge when beginning, during, and even in the later ending, if it ever ends, really, a part of the process. So thank you, Tirza.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I think that when a lot of us in our journeys in healing and health, we always look back and we're like, okay, that I needed to go through that in order for me to learn X, Y, Z. And for me, I know that I went through all those things so that I could go after my purpose, which is supporting people in those pieces, because I went through all of them, right? And I understand how hard it is in those moments to do the things that you need to do and how to support the body and the mind in the way that is helpful, right? And everyone's different again. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, but before we begin, I know there's a lot there. We're gonna ground our bodies a little bit before we get started. So what we're gonna do, we can keep it on this slide, but what I invite you to do is place your feet on the ground, and you can close your eyes if you want, but you can also keep them open, whatever's comfortable. And I want you to keep your spine tall. Maybe roll your shoulders back or move your neck or move anything that needs to be readjusted. And your hands can be in your lap or folded, again, whatever is comfortable. And we're going to do something called Yoga Nidra. It's just a body stand. So first, we're going to take a few deep breaths together. We're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 2 seconds. Exhale through the mouth for 6 seconds. We're going to do 3 more of those. Breathing in, hold, and exhale. 2 more on your own. Breathing in, and one last one. Breathing in and exhale. Now you can keep your eyes closed or open, but I want you to imagine in your mind's eye a golden ball of light above the top of your head. You can imagine it moving if you want, and I want you to imagine that light falling down on the top of your head. So touching the crown of your head, and you can imagine it even going further into your head, seeping down. And as it touches areas of your body, I want you to notice any sensations that you might feel, but also just imagine this light as it moves further down is that it brings a sense of calm and relaxation. to your body. So feel it over the crown of your head, now moving over your forehead, over your eyebrows, over your eyes. Feeling that light sink in and even relax all the micro muscles behind the eyes, over your ears, your nose, your lips and chin. Feeling it move further down the back of your neck, the front of your neck and throat. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this light over to our right side, over our right arm. Bring that light over to our right shoulder, right bicep, elbow, forearm, wrist, palm of the hand, back of the hand, all 5 fingers. And I just want you to notice the difference between your right arm and your left arm right now. How your right arm might be a little bit heavier. Great. And we're going to bring our attention back up the right arm, and we're going to do the same thing with the left side. Bringing that white light over to our left shoulder, our left bicep, elbow, forearm, wrist, palm of the hand, back of the hand, all 5 fingers. Now noticing how the weight of both your arms feel a little bit more even. And we're going to bring our attention back up the left arm, and we're going to move down the torso. So bringing that white light over to our heart center, just in between our breastbone. You can imagine that light pouring the back of your heart center too, over your shoulder blades, feeling that light seep in, provide some spaciousness and calm. Continuing to breathe, we're going to bring that light further down over to the space above our belly button, through our right and left torso. Taking a breath there. And bringing the light further down to the space below our belly button and our lower back. Further down to the base of our spine and our groin area. Feeling the connection between the base of our spine and the bowl of our pelvis on the surface beneath us. And we're going to bring that light over to the right side, just like we did with the arms. Bringing it over to our right hip, our right thigh, our right knee, right shin and calf, ankle, bottom of the foot, top of the foot, all 5 toes. Again, feeling the difference between your right leg and your left leg. Continue to breathe. Bring the attention back up the right leg to the left. We're going to move that light over to our left hip, thigh, knee, shin and calf, ankle, bottom of the foot, top of the foot, all 5 toes. Feeling how your entire body is engulfed with this golden white light. And the last step we're going to do in this visualization is I want you to imagine that light dripping from the bottom of your feet, going into the surface beneath you. Maybe through the floor or the building that you're in, going all the way through the soil that's beneath the building, and just feeling how there's now a tether between you and the earth. and feeling how there's a connection between and how the earth rises up to meet your feet and to support you. Great. You can pull that light back up to your feet. And we're going to place our attention on our heart center. You can put 2 hands here if you'd like, and if not, that's okay too. What we're going to do is we're going to take 3 of those breaths we did in the beginning, breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 2, and exhaling through 6 of the mouth. Okay, I'm going to breathe in for 4, hold, exhale. Breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold, and exhale. And one more time on your own, your last final breath. And exhale. Great. And you can release your hands and you can bring some movement to the body. You can wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to our space. Awesome. Thank you so much for doing that with us, with me. All right, hopefully we're feeling grounded. We're feeling in our bodies. We're feeling calm. Thumbs up, Cassandra, you're feeling good?
Definitely, yes. I'm curious to hear how everyone else is feeling. Feel free to use the chat to share how you're feeling. I know we had some people come in, come out, come in, come out during the exercise, so might have been distracted. It's okay. I'm curious. If I can briefly share how that made me feel.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So with visualizing the light above my head and that starting point, I immediately felt a connection. And it made me want to dance. Like I was just so happy. And then when you started, I think my body just submitted to your tempo and was like, okay, calm down. Like, be a bit more gracious, I guess. And that was very useful for me as well. Since I've been on the go, 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 it was nice to also just be calmer and have that peace. So that's how it was for me. And someone mentioned as well that it was not so helpful. They mentioned that parts were uncomfortable for them.
I can speak to that. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. It's totally normal to feel uncomfortable in some areas. So in the beginning, when I said, just notice if there's any sensations, it's totally normal if something feels tight or stagnant. We're actually going to talk about that in a little bit of what's coming up in the body. If you want to just make a note of where that was in the body, we can talk about it later, but it's totally normal. The more you practice it, the more it will feel less uncomfortable as well, because it's just moving a couple things, attention in the body. But if we're stressed or we're going through illness or we have tension in our body, it can totally happen. So no worries, totally normal. It's a very normal thing. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. So thank you so much for sharing. The whole thing felt heavy. Yeah, maybe your body just needed to come down a little bit and just to be present and aware. So it's normal if it feels a little bit heavy. I also find when we're in silence too, maybe emotions can come up as well. So all totally normal. If we want, maybe we can just take 2 or 3 grounding breaths together just to center us for the next little bit. So I invite you to just breathe in and out through the mouth. You can close your eyes if you want, breathing in, out through the mouth. And one more time, breathing in and out. Okay. Yeah. Also, if you need to jiggle anything out, feel free to do that. Move some energy. But thank you for sharing that. And we're going to get more into how our body's actually so wise and it's actually telling us something. So, okay. So when we're talking about secrets of health and healing, this is the first secret. Is something called traditional Chinese medicine. Some of you may have heard of it. Maybe some of you practice it. But this was the missing key for me in my healing journey, is that I was trying all of these nutrition plans, all of these things, but there's a piece that traditional Chinese medicine, in TCM for short, the way that traditional Chinese medicine looks at health and healing is that it views the body as an interconnected whole. Our mind, body, and spirit are deeply connected. And the main element that we're going to talk about here today is this something called qi. So in traditional Chinese medicine, we say qi is our life force and our vital energy that flows through our body, right? It's present while we're alive, it's moving. We're going to do a little magic and actually be able to feel this in the body, which is really fun. But the concept in traditional Chinese medicine is that disease arises or illness arises when qi is blocked or depleted. So I'll talk about the reasons why qi can get blocked too, but essentially when we're stressed or tired, that life force energy, that energy that's flowing through our bodies can get disrupted. And even if you look at the word disease, right, if you break it in two, it breaks into dis-ease, which means unease in the body. So something has caused the body to experience unease. That could be through trauma, it could be through emotions, it could be through so many different elements. But we're going to get into that in a second. We're going to do some magic. And I know that we talk about, okay, we're talking about this life force, we're talking about this qi, and it's something that we can't see, right? It's very hard to conceptualize because it's something we can't see, but I'm going to teach you how to feel it today, okay? Also, just a quick caveat too is that if you can't feel it right away, that's also totally normal. If we're not used to feeling very subtle things, it might take us some practice. So remember what we do together, and you can try it on your own later and see if you can feel it later. So again, if you don't feel it in this very moment, totally okay and very normal.
Before we move on as well, Tears, I just want to pause here and say that I'm aware we only have a certain amount of time together today, and a lot of things can come up in the body, which is what Tears is emphasizing, the normalcy to our different experiences. I do want to note here that Tirza is accepting new clients. So if you are interested in continuing the journey, or even continuing the conversation for what we're touching on today, please feel free to reach out to us. Our information will be in the later slides so that you can continue your healing journey. So I just want to honor that.
Thanks, Cassandra. What we're going to do is I'm going to explain it first, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and then we're going to do it together, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put our arms fully out, like straight, and we're going to keep one hand up and one hand down like this, okay? But again, your arms are fully extended, but mine can't be right now because I want to be in the camera, but we're just going to keep it like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to close your palms, open your palms, close your palms, open your palms. We're going to do it 7 times, okay? Then you're going to flip your arms the other way. So one palm is up, one palm is down. Yeah, exactly. Then you're going to close them and open them, close them and open them, close them and open. 7 times, then you're going to flip. You're going to do 7 times. You're going to flip again, do 7 times. And we're going to do that with our arms really outstretched. And we're going to do it until our muscles and our forearms are really sore. Okay. We want to do it as fast as we can and as quick as we can as well. You don't have to do it yet, Cass, because you're going to be really tired. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, after we finish that, we're going to do it for a while together. You're going to put your hands together, maybe the size of your face together like this. And you're going to see if you can feel anything between your palms. And you're going to move your palms up and down. Okay, and you want to see if you can feel anything, okay, through your fingers. So we're going to do that together, okay? So I'm going to move, and we're going to do the arms stretched out, and we're going to close our palms open, and we're going to do it 7 times. 7, flip them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, keep going. Keep going until your forearms are like really tired. Your muscles in your hands are starting to get tired. Cass, you tell me when you're tired and then we'll stop it. Okay? Also, my cat just like ran over. I don't know if you saw that. Okay. He's like, yes, we're doing chi. Okay, I'm getting sore. Are you done? Okay. Okay, we're going to put our hands this far away from each other. And we're going to go up and down like this. And we can even go in like a little circle. If we feel any, like, we can also put our hands a little bit closer together to feel it a little bit more and go up and down. So if you feel like a magnet, like your hands are repelling each other a little bit, and there's something between, it's like called like a chi ball. What we did is we just opened up our energy in our bodies, and hopefully you can feel it. Again, if not, if you can try it again, the more you practice it, the more you can feel it. Cass, how did you feel anything? Did anyone feel anything?
I did. I wasn't feeling much here. I guess the soreness took some time to kick in, but when I did this, I'm like, oh, like it feels, I don't know if heavy is the word, but I felt a ball
Yeah.
in a way, like something circular. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm trying to apply logic, but there's no necessarily logic to energy, but that's interesting.
Yeah, so this is the energy that flows through us, right? Food makes the energy in our bodies. Sleep also replenishes our energy. So that's an exercise to show you how you can actually conceptualize it a bit, because energy is such a thing that we talk about what we can't see, but there's a way to actually feel it. The more you do it and the more tired that you get, you'll actually be able to feel it more. But yeah, thank you for doing that with me. So I just wanted to see if we can yeah, just feel it a little bit more once that we're talking more about it in the presentation.
I also want to invite everyone that did try, please feel free to also share how that made you feel in the comment section.
I think A. Kent said already feel it very familiar before we even tried it. So I guess they're familiar with Chi.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, I want to be mindful of everyone's time. We still have like a lot to go through, so we're gonna skim on by. But again, if you want to share anything a little bit later, you're totally free to do that. So when we talk about this chi flow in our body, if we think about acupuncture, right? We hear of, putting these needles on these meridians in our bodies. This is what we're talking about. This is how the energy flows in our body. So things like chronic stress, eating habits, having too much cold or heat, lack of movement, right? If you think about how we made that energy flow in our hands, is we actually moved, right? We moved that energy and we moved our bodies to move that within our body. Overstimulation, disconnection. I feel like we're overwhelmed with just like so much nowadays with the news, social media, our phones. There's a lot, and that can kind of stunt our chi a little bit. And trauma, and also emotion. And I want to talk about the word emotion and what emotion stands for, which is in the next slide. Okay, when we think about emotion, again, I like splitting up words because I always think that there's like wisdom in that. But if we split up the word emotion, we get motion. E stands for energy. Motion is in motion. So it's energy in motion. And if we look at this chart here, this is a diagram of how we actually feel emotions in the body, and where there's heat and where there's cold, right? So if you think about, I'm going to talk about just anger for now, but if you think about anger, you see here that there's a lot of heat in the head and the chest and the arms. Think about when you don't express that anger. If you don't verbalize, or you say that you're angry, or you don't scream, or you don't cry, and you just hold all that energy in, where's that energy going to go, right? And this is when I talk about when that chi flow gets stagnant or gets stuck somewhere, we can see physical symptoms in the body, and our body communicating with us, hey, you didn't express that, it's gonna manifest somewhere else. So for me, I was a very angry person. I did not express my anger at all. It wasn't safe to. We'll talk a lot about safety in a little bit, but that is where that chi, that heat is a type of chi, and it can get stagnant in some organ systems that can cause health symptoms. So we're gonna get into that.
And before we do, I just want to have a quick comment here. Just looking at the chart and the different emotions, it's interesting that happiness and love, so typically associated with positive emotions, it engulfs almost all of the body, if not the whole body, where we tend to think, especially in therapy, psychotherapy, that anger or fear takes up the whole body, and therefore we feel like we've lost control. So looking at this from an energy image is quite interesting, with the integrating of how the mind and body do actually work, and how we interpret things when there's a deeper understanding versus maybe just our mind is trying to conceptualize the emotion. So thank you for this graphic. This is perfect.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's that's so beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up. Is that While there can be energy in like a negative emotion, which I don't believe there's negative emotion, there is also a lot of energy in those positive emotions like happiness and love. And yeah, it can take up the entire body, which is really beautiful. But I just wanted to clarify here that in traditional Chinese medicine, they do use these energy meridians, which are energy pathways that go through the body, and those little needles open them up for us. So acupuncture is a great practice of how to like get that energy flowing as well. And some other fun things with traditional Chinese medicine is that each organ system also connects with a certain emotion. So the main two that I usually see in my clients is you'll see on the right side, there's stomach and spleen that has to connect with, or that connects with the emotion of worry. And then also the liver on the left side with anger. So there's emotions connected to different organ systems. So if we have more of one emotion, we can also kind of block that chi in that organ system, and we can see symptoms, which is on the next slide. Now, these are just some examples. And again, like I do have arrows that connect all of the organ systems together, but I put on the side the main symptoms that are connected with that specific organ system. So you'll see on the spleen side, it's more have to do with your digestion. So we have IBS, bloating, and unbalanced energy. And then I'll just go to kidneys and liver as well. So on the left side, the kidneys is on the far left, the bottom left. When I see a lot of people with chronic fatigue and they're just feeling so tired, I usually look at the kidneys here and the flow of energy through the kidneys and supporting that. Again, we don't just do this through energy. This is through nutrition. This is through supplements. This is through herbal medicine that we support that organ system. And then we also have liver up at the top. Whenever I see hormonal imbalances that have to do with cycles like PMS, painful periods, I always look to the liver here. Also migraines, irritability and frustration. Whenever I hear someone like getting really mad in like, let's say, when I see someone having road rage, I'm like, they might have some liver chi stagnation. But yeah, also blood sugar balancing has to do with the liver as well. Okay, can go to the next. I'm not going to talk about this quickly, but this is just an example of how everyone's different. So in traditional Chinese medicine, we have a tongue analysis. So whenever I see a client, I always look at their tongue because their tongue will tell me what's going on internally, because our tongue is actually an extension of our digestive system, what's going on inside. So it can tell us what organ system might need support, depending on the color, the texture, if there's like a coating on it. It's very interesting. But we're going to fly on by. And also the tongue will connect with different organ systems based on where a certain thing is, like color, texture, if there's any dots, those kind of things will tell me what organ system needs the most support. So it's just really interesting how our body gives us all these signals. We just need to learn how to read them and how to understand them. And whenever I see people with acne, which is I dealt with a lot of acne, especially along my cheeks and my jawline, in traditional Chinese medicine, there's also a face map. So if I look at someone that has acne, I'll always look to where their acne is, and it will connect with a certain organ as well and how we need to, and will help us pinpoint what we need to support. Okay. So this slide is just encompassing all that we talked about, is that every body just has a different constitution. And what I mean by constitution is just everyone has a different energy type or the way that their body's functioning. Everyone's different. That's why a one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition is not beneficial for everybody. And this is why some protocols, some supplements don't work. So matching foods and herbs to your own individual constitution equals healing. And that's where I see the most healing, first for myself and how I healed all my symptoms, but also for my clients. Okay, so we're gonna do our energetic blueprint. And so this is a quiz. So if you have your phone out or a notepad, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, sorry. But if you have a notepad, sticky note, whatever it is, you can just make note. Also in your head, you can just make note which one you have the most. So we're going to be doing a quiz. So it's gonna be A to F. And you're going to make a tally for which letter that you have the most. In the next slide, there's another, there's a graph of it. So you're just gonna make, it's to G, A to G. And you're gonna make a nice little tally like this if you want, or you can just write A, B, C, whatever. Also a quick note that this quiz, for how you answer it, if you relate to more than one answer, you can put both. So you can put, like, let's say if you relate to answer A and C, you can put A and C. But I would like to invite you to connect with your intuition a little more and see which one is the most relevant for you. And at the end, we're just going to tally them all up. And again, these questions, they're more pertaining to, I guess, the negative side of our health. But I don't want you to look at it that way. I want you to look at this quiz as just really thinking about your health and where, if you are in like a sticky place with your health, what is the answer that you most are relevant to? So I'll show you what the questions are first and I'll explain a little bit deeper. So this is the first question. How are you feeling right now? So in this very moment, right? So we have A to G here. I want you to read through all of them. I'm going to read them out for you. So A is ungrounded, worried about money or living situation or my safety. B is feeling emotionally flat or disconnected from pleasure. C, feeling drained, unmotivated, stuck in self-doubt. D, heavy-hearted, craving deeper connection. E, struggling to express my truth or feeling unheard. F, overthinking, indecisive, or mentally scattered. Or G, disconnected from my intuition or my path in life. Again, if you're feeling amazing today and you're like, nothing, like I feel amazing, then you don't have to answer at all. But you can also reflect on, if I was feeling a little bit off, which is the one that shows up more for me. Okay. So again, if you're feeling amazing, awesome. You can skip the answer. We're going to have emotional questions and also physical questions. And we're going to bring that together to create your energetic blueprint. Okay. So hopefully you got an answer to this one. If your answer isn't there, you can leave it blank, or you can just choose the one that you relate most to, right? Like, let's say for me, I'm just feeling a little bit unheard, right? It's only one word that I connect with in this question. I would just choose E. And if not, that's okay too. You can skip it. Okay. The second question is, which area of your physical health feels most out of balance right now? So if you have any physical symptoms, you can choose one of these answers. So A, digestion, energy levels, and immune system. B, hormones, your cycle or reproductive health. C, metabolism, blood sugar, or stress. D, heart, lungs, or circulation. E, throat or thyroid. F, my head, eyes, or my nervous system feel overstimulated. Or G, my sleep, my mood, or spiritual connection feels disrupted.
And just as a reminder, you mentioned that you can pick more than one option.
Yes, you can also pick more than one option. So if you're feeling like my digestion and my hormones, you can pick A and B and just put a little tally for those two. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so going a little bit more into physical symptoms to get a little clarity, which physical symptoms shows up most for you? So is it digestive issues, lower back pain, B, hormonal imbalances? Again, it's kind of repetitive, actually. Maybe I should take this one out later, but basically the same kind of answers. So C is fatigue, burnout, or gut-related issues. D, tight chest or shallow breathing. E, thyroid, sore throat, jaw tension. F, headaches, eye strain or brain fog. Or G, sleep issues or disconnected from higher self. Okay. And then which emotion feels most familiar? A, fear or anxiety. B, guilt. C, frustration. D, sadness. I'll let you read it. I feel like I don't want to let it. Yeah, perfect. I'll let you read it and feel which one you connected to. Okay. Got two more questions and that's it. When life feels off balance, what do you tend to do? Okay. And the last question, what are you craving right now? Okay. Thank you so much for doing that. Take a deep breath and just have a moment of gratitude for your body for communicating with you. Even as you're thinking, your body's communicating with you through thought of what needs to be focused on and looked at. Again, if you're feeling amazing today, awesome. I love that. If you answered it in a way of when you feel a little bit off, which answers come up, we're going to go through those pieces. Again, we're not judging the body. The body is very wise. It's just communicating with us, right? And we're going to go through some of the answers. So I want you to tally up which one shot out the most. So A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. And we're going to go through the answers of each one. Now, before we get into it, I just want to mention I did put a lot of information on these slides, and I'm not going to go through everything because I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So if you have your phone with you, I invite you to take a picture of the slides. You can go through it later. Again, Cassandra said that this workshop is going to be recorded, so you can watch it at a later time and go through it. But I'm just going to read out the main things that comes up in each answer, okay? Okay, before we get started, each of these answers do connect with something called a chakra. So when we felt the energy in our hands, those actually connect with certain chakras. So you don't need to be religious to connect with a chakra. I want to base that or say that first. A chakra is just an energy center. So just like traditional Chinese medicine, the energy will kind of stay in a certain area. These chakras connect with different organ systems and symptoms that we might have. So we're going to go through the energetic piece. Okay, awesome. So like I said, a chakra is just an energy center of the body, and each chakra connects with an organ system. So the first is about safety and connects to our digestive system. The second is with our reproductive organs. Like there's a bunch of stuff that we're going to go into each of them together. So when they're balanced, we feel calm and balanced and collected. When unbalanced, we can feel stressed and we can have physical symptoms come up on the body. Okay, so the first one is called our root chakra. So it's at the base of the spine, and this has to do with safety. So it's directly connected to your nervous system and fight or flight. If you have totally, like this is where I see most come up for people, but this energetic center is telling you to come home to your body. So you could be feeling and having imbalance signs like recurring health symptoms, digestive issues, maybe financial concerns. This is the root of the nervous system, so this has to do with our fight or flight response. So your energetic blueprint is going to come next, and it's going to have things that you can do for nutrition, things that you can do for your mind and body as well. Okay, so we actually can, and you know how like everyone says like eat the rainbow, right? Eat your reds, everyone says that. I've done personal work with chakra with local practitioners. Amazing. Okay, we're not a stranger to chakras. Amazing. I love chakra work. This is bread and butter. Okay. So when we eat the rainbow, we're actually having all these different colors, and each color connects to a chakra. So we can actually influence the energy of a chakra by having those certain colors. So red fruits and vegetables. And also we think of the root chakra. It's like a rooting. Literally, it's the base of the spine. It's our chakra that's closer to the earth. So root vegetables like beets, sweet potatoes, and protein is going to be really beneficial if you got letter A. Warm and grounding soups and stews, avoiding cold and raw foods. This will kind of stagnate your energy. I don't know if when you feel cold, you're like, you like kind of bunch up, right? Or if you think of coconut oil, when coconut oil gets cold, it stagnates, just like our blood and our chi that flows through our body. So avoiding ice drinks and raw foods, this makes a huge difference in digestion if you just switch that in your health and healing journey. And for herbs, burdock root is really good for your root chakra. Nettle, it's very mineralizing, and ashwagandha. I want to make a note about ashwagandha is that if you're feeling a little bit too stressed and you're stuck in fight or flight, ashwagandha can make you feel a little bit more like that. So ashwagandha works for different people. So if you feel a little bit more activated on ashwagandha, then take it out of your supplement routine. Everyone's talking about nowadays. I feel like ashwagandha is such like a buzzword, but I just wanted to mention that for people. And then for your mind, grounding meditations, like the meditation that we just did, breath work, and also there's yoga poses that you can do like the bridge pose and locust pose. But for your heart, the main question for answer A is what is making you feel unsafe right now or ungrounded, right? things like relationship, location, those kind of pieces, just really having some reflection and giving a love to our soul, like what's happening right now in our lives as well. Okay, I'm realizing the time. I'm going to just touch briefly on each of them after this one.
Okay, perfect. Before we do that, I know we are running up for time, but I did want to ask a question,
Okay.
maybe for those that are not asking questions as yet or will. In terms of checking our chakras, right? Would you say, whether it's the first time or we've done it multiple times, is it beneficial to check it every so often, or is what we, for example, identified today, would that be what tends to come up henceforth?
That's a great question. So our chakras can change daily and hourly, depending on what we're moving through in our lives. Like some can be activated, some can be unbalanced. So it's always, I feel like it's a constant change. So this is a quiz that you can do at any time to kind of touch in with yourself. But I actually want to mention, because you said in the beginning that the body scan, we were actually kind of going through these energy centers. So I know that someone mentioned that they felt like some tightness in some areas. That could have been a chakra that was speaking to you as well. You might feel like a stagnant energy there. That body scan, when you do it, and if you learn more about the chakras and where they are in the body, if you do that body scan, you can kind of touch on which one needs attention. Your body will communicate with you and be like, oh, I feel a little tight here. I feel a little tingling here. That is your body communicating. So thank you so much for that question. It's something that you can always check, but it's constantly changing, and it's just like a nice check-in we can do with ourselves, right? But for the purpose of this workshop, it's more to give you some things that you can do physically to help your mind, body, and soul. So things like the nutrition, herbs, and some practices for you. Okay. So if you got answer B, this connects with your sacral chakra, which is the space below your belly button and our reproductive area for women. If you got B, your body is asking for softness and for joy and maybe to feel some past emotions. So if you have this chakra coming up, you might have felt some womb related symptoms, some PMS, something with your cycle, lower back pain, possibly, maybe some just low energy. So this is also where energetically, this is where we birth things, but I'm not going to get into that today. That's like a whole other thing. We're going to get into the next slide.
Okay. And also before we go into the next, I do want to confirm, I know the anatomy is different if male or female, for example. I just want to, and I know we all have a reproductive system. Would you say this more applies to women? Does it apply to men?
It's similar to both genders. Yeah. So it's just an energy center. So they're around the same area, but the way we can separate them is through this way. Yes. Thank you for clarifying that. It's same for everybody. Okay. So for the body, orange fruits and vegetables, root vegetables are also going to be supportive. If we think about the sacral chakra, it connects with water. So things that help us be hydrated, so things like soups and stews and having electrolytes in our water is going to be supportive of you. And for herbs, whenever I'm supporting clients, red raspberry leaf and damiana are really beautiful to the body. And doing energetic practices that connect with the element of water. So things like showering or walks by the ocean or a river or a lake, because we're in Ontario, most of us. And we have, for individuals that have wombs, we have womb healing rituals. Also, energy can get stagnant here if we're not feeling our emotions. So I put just watch a nice emotional movie. I did put my favorite movie here. It's called The Little Princess. It is so good. Oh my gosh. If you end up watching it, please send me a message. For yoga, there's poses that you can do here. Again, please take a picture. And for your soul, just a reflection question is, how can I create more space for pleasure and creativity? So things that are, again, your body's asking for joy here. How can you add more joy into your life? Okay. C is your solar plexus. This is the space above your belly button. This is where your digestive system, like your spleen and your liver are. So normally when I see someone like this come up, I usually look at the spleen and liver and supporting that through nutrition. But your body is asking for rest and more self-trust. So you could have physical things that could be coming up, could be blood sugar imbalances, acne, maybe some weight clinging to the middle, difficulty saying no. Also, when this energy center becomes depleted, we have to find energy elsewhere. So if I see someone that has like a lot of coffee or needs sweets to just go through the day, I always look at this energy center. Okay, for your body, yellow fruits and vegetables, lemons, bananas, squash, supporting digestion through digestive bitters and enzymes. Like a lot of digestive issues is just supporting the body through things that we naturally have, like enzymes in our digestive tract. So having digestive bitters, which is just like an herbal remedy, you can Google it. Any brand is pretty good, but anyway, enzymes and bitters. And for herbs, chamomile, lemon balm, and dandelion. And if you think about all three of those herbs, they're all yellow. So they connect to the color of this chakra. And for your soul, her question is, where in my life am I afraid to take up space or to say no? This could be just like a nice reflection question for you if you got letter C in this quiz. Okay, D is your heart chakra, so our heart center. Your body is asking for gentleness and self-love if this is the sign that's coming up. So if you have any physical symptoms, you might have a feeling of a tight chest. Maybe you're going through a season of grief or overgiving. So we can go to the next one. So for our body, having lots of green foods, and for herbs, hawthorn is really good for the energetic and physical heart, like the heart muscles. I actually have hawthorn and hibiscus in my tea right now. And rose. Oh, and rose. I did a heart opening tea for myself today before this workshop. So, and for reflection for yourself is possibly where have I blocked love in my life, or how can I be more open to receiving love? I feel like a lot of times we can kind of block it off because we're scared of getting hurt or we're scared of things happening, that we block it instead. But being open to receiving can help open up that chakra and kind of move the energy out of the body. So for the throat, your body, if you get E, I believe, yes, I can't tell what that letter that is. You have the throat chakra. And your body is craving expression. So you might have, your thyroid panels coming up, or having jaw tension or teeth grinding at night. This is common symptoms of this energy center needing some attention. And for the body, blue fruits and vegetables, raw honey. If you think of like soothing the throat when we're sick, we think of raw honey. Seaweed is really good for this center, and soothing teas for the throat and just like these glands here. For herbs, we have blue lotus tea, licorice root, and blue vervain. And for a reflection question is, where have I silenced my truth for the sake of someone else or others in my life? Sometimes when we don't fully express, this energy center can be stagnant. Okay.
I know we're going through lightning speed. I just want to honor here for those as we are moving through quickly. Maybe you're noticing things too that maybe they don't go with your diet, whether it's because of allergies or disinterest. Again, this list is not exhaustive. I know I'm kind of speaking for you, Tirza, but
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this list is not exhaustive. So with Tirza, she can cater a very much so personalized plan to what is okay for your body to consume and navigate these different healing points.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Take what you like, right? Whatever resonates, take that. If something doesn't resonate, you don't have to use it. It's just some options for you to choose. You can just choose one thing off the list if you'd like. Okay. If you got letter F, this connects with your third eye chakra. And this is asking you to connect with your intuition again, and for your body to communicate with you. So if you have physical symptoms, this could include headaches and migraines and maybe some eye issues or nightmares coming up. This is where the energy center is telling you to pay attention. So how to support this chakra is having purple fruits and vegetables. Cacao is really good at supporting this energy center, omega-3s, and also hydration. And some herbs that can support this is mugwort. Actually, mugwort, if you have mugwort before you go to sleep, you'll probably have some crazy dreams. So that's always like, if you want to connect with your dreams a little bit more, I have some mugwort at night. Gotu kola and rosemary. And then there's some mind practices there for you. And a reflection question is, what can I do right now to build my self-trust? Right? So maybe if you're making a big decision or you're wondering what your next step is, connecting with your body a little bit more and asking yourself what you want rather than what other people want for you. And then the last one is G, or crown chakra. So this is at the top of our head. This connects to our pituitary gland and our central nervous system as well. So your body is asking you to come back into connection, either with a divine connection, or if not, that's totally okay too. But normally when I see an energetic block here, we have sleep issues or feeling bored or like just not interested in anything. You may be feeling like spiritually numb as well, but this is the crown chakra. I always think of like the antenna of the nervous system. And there's physical things that you can do for this section if you don't relate to that more spiritual piece. But having nuts and seeds that are really good for brain health, regulating your circadian rhythm, which is our internal clock. And we regulate that through light. So getting up and seeing the sunrise and getting that red light in our eyes can help regulate this. Time away from screens is really, really good for moving this energy. And for the reflection question is, how often do I allow myself moments of stillness or even a connection to something greater than myself? And how can I make that a part of my life? If you just feel like you're moving through your day and you're moving so quickly all the time, when can you have a moment just to yourself, just to sit and be, and just to breathe like we did in the beginning? Okay, I know we sped through that, but I just wanted to recognize too that as we're moving through, some things might have come up in the body. So also thank your body for communicating. We're not judging the body. We're not judging what comes up. We're just experiencing it and witnessing it. And I just want to take a moment to just recognize how wise the body is, and how, like Cassandra said in the beginning too, is like we always know our bodies better than anyone else. So I just wanted to take some few closing breaths to center ourselves after all of this information. It was very jam-packed, so I hope that you can go back and look at some of that information and see what's relevant for you. But we're just going to do the same thing, maybe hands on heart if you'd like, and we're just going to do the 3 closing breaths, breathing in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it at the top for 2, and exhale through the mouth for 6 seconds. Okay, breathing in, holding it, and exhaling. Breathing in, hold, and exhale. And one more time on your own. Okay, thank you for doing that. And thank you for being here today and being open into learning the wisdom of the body and some different things of looking at, different ways of looking at our health and healing. And I believe in today's, society, we know that there is a missing piece to some health and healing, and I believe it's the energetic piece. So I just wanted to mention that at One Piece Therapy, it really is a wellness hub, right? The main services that One Piece Therapy provides is psychotherapy for individuals, families, couples, and groups. But we also have the physical health and energetic health components, which includes nutrition, counseling, and also Reiki healing sessions, which I provide both of those. I believe they're both beneficial to each other. As you can see in today's workshop, is that they all integrate together. And yeah, there's an opportunity to blend all 3 of these services, right? And I think that One Piece Therapy really has that holistic lens on our health, as we support our mind, body, and soul through all 3 of these pieces. Cass, did you want to jump in and say anything at all?
Yes, I wanted to thank you, Tirza, for a lovely, well-rounded, very thorough, and insightful webinar today. It's been quite the experience to get to tune into ourselves and really go through what is needed, what is appreciated. And just even hearing your story, that's still in my mind, of how much you really had to go in deep to understand this for yourself too. And I'm, as much as knowledge is very much so power, experience also can trump the knowledge that we have, like, with sitting and learning in this way too, but both are needed. So I value what you bring to the table, Tirza. I also value everyone that has attended today live and those watching the recorded version. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself and tuning into your wellness and checking on where you're at today. As I mentioned throughout today's webinar, this video is recorded, so it will be up on our YouTube channel by this weekend, the latest. So please feel free to subscribe, and you can rewatch everything and maybe even do it across time as well, and not just this weekend. But also, if you'd like to continue the conversation with Tirza, gain some support, whether it's with your nutrition, with your energy, or both, we have QR codes here where you can scan on your phone and make sure you are subscribed, make sure you are booking, whatever you feel you need. Please feel free to do it and ask us questions if you have any. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cassandra. And again, thank you everyone for being here too. And the last thing, I saw a comment too that said, thank you, all very interesting, primarily confirm what I already know and working on. And this is the thing with our body and our intuition, like we already know all these things. And it's interesting to have this way of looking at it that confirms it. So I'm glad that you had that experience and got to connect all those dots too. So thank you so much. Thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, have a beautiful rest of your day and week. And thank you. Thank you again. Bye. Take care. Bye.